Hello, and thank you again for tuning in to Neptune Knives. Okay, there's a little personal thing you can learn about me. Before, I used to give respect to get respect, and I thought that's the way you live life. And then I learned that the world's not that sweet. And so now, I feel you have to earn respect. And so the thing is, when I tell you guys, hey, a knife I don't think is that good, the only way you're going to believe me is I have to earn that. And I figure the way to earn that is just to prove it. These videos, you see it happen, there's no real debate. And then hopefully one day, then when I do tell you something, you'll know that's from at least you can take it as from my personal experience. This kind of all stems from the military, Spyderco military, and me talking about the screws being smaller and therefore kind of fragile. If you're in a stressful situation, a tactical situation where you're trying to, your nerves are going, your hands are shaking, from the adrenaline and stuff, and you have to worry about, carefully unscrewing your knife, then that's like absurd, because see, the thing is, your knife, people always worry about your blades chipping and the blades breaking and stuff. You should be more worried about the screws, because the screws hold the knife together, especially if it's a folding knife. The pivot is a screw, and the screws are the areas that mostly rust. I mean, if you're looking at a knife, if one of your screws falls out, your knife is just as useless as if the blade broke. If you were to say to me, well, the quality of your tool is why the screw is stripping, but I think that's absurd. Like your screw should always be stronger than your tool, and most of the time, tools this size for small screws anyway are made specifically for things such as like glasses or whatever, these small little tiny screws. So whoever made this company, this is Benchmade, isn't going to make this so strong that it's going to always damage all your screws. I mean, and logically speaking, if a company is going to make a good knife and put good quality steel for screws in there, those screws are going to be stronger than the tool, because you would rather have your tool strip than have your your $200, $400 knife screw strip. Now the thing is, these smaller screws, just like all steel, when you start to harden it, it becomes more brittle. So on all of the knives I've seen, when they have small screws like this, these screws are never hard. I mean, they're always soft. And you're just gonna have to. You could try. You can take my word for it. But main thing is, for example, it doesn't matter which brand. This here is the screw off of my Boker Subcom. It's soft as hell, it's crap. This screw here is a broken piece from my Deimos made in Italy on that little tiny screw right there, and the rest of the screws in there. And there's a video of someone who had bought a custom clip for their military, and the screw snapped when he was trying to put it on because it wasn't, it was just too much tension. So now how this video is going to work is, let's just start with the Sebenza. Okay, Mr. Reeves, his screws are good. That's all I gotta say. Here's a little tool that comes with the Sebenza. Okay. Now, pay attention to. You see that? Okay. Now I'm gonna take the Sebenza. I'm gonna take this screw back here. I'm gonna twist hard. Okay, I don't know if you guys are noticing this, but I'll do it more. Okay, look at that screw. Okay. Let's see if you can see this. And the screw. So now let's try, like, for example, let's see if you can see that. Okay. I'm gonna loosen it a little bit. Okay. Now let's try. Oh, gonna have to go get that. You see the screw? It's nothing. Because these Sebenzas are just, Mr. Reeves hardens his screws and the size of them. Now, also know on knives, when you have domed topped they're much more durable. The flat ones, like on this Boker or what you'll see on the Hinder, you know, those strip easier. But let's try that more. You know, I mean, heck, let's just, you know, let's just try to fuck it up purposely, right? Oh, sorry, pardon my French. Okay, so there we go. You know, like, okay. Like I even got a, I think maybe a scratch me clean up. And the screw is still, you can see, screw it on, right? And get in there, see. And yet, poor camera. Look at the screw. Look at the tool. And yet, let's see. See? Still works. Now, there we go. You can see how damaged the screw is or isn't, right? Okay. Now here's my beat up paramilitary one. These screws are stronger than the Spyderco militaries, but I'm gonna go ahead and mess one up so you guys can see. Let's see. Now this is a little thing that comes with my Boker. Let's start with this, okay? That screw, you can tell, is brand new, right? You see it? Okay. Now, for example, I'll tell you this. Hinder screws are mushy. If you're going to use a Hinder, please be careful when you take it apart. Still okay. Loosen it. Let's just try, like, put in there and then you can see still pretty good, right? I mean, that's how it should be. Now, let's try that little pocket clip screw, huh? We'll do the black one. I guess, no, you know, we'll do the silver one since I got lots of silver ones. See, this comes from the Benchmade tool. Okay? It comes right here of the Benchmade, you know, Benchmade, they come out. But the point of this video is just basically to show you that like I said, some Spyderco screw quality is average. It's not the best, but it's not, you know, it's not the worst. It's definitely, I would say it's above average. But the thing is to realize, when you're looking at screws this small, they're fragile. Like I said, I don't know why Sal chose to use this type of screw on the military. Okay, you can see I bent it, and you see that little cut. You see that in the middle screw? Watch this. They're just soft. I mean, it's a soft screw because it's small. And there's no real debate. It's just there. See it? It's starting to get pretty messed up. Watch. Couple twists. Over twisting, right? And a little, okay. You see? So, like I said, the main thing to know is that push reef screws, I mean, you saw how much they could take, and yet look, it's damaged, but still that shape and still functional. these little cheap made in China screws on your little Bookers. Oh man, you know. The main thing is, you know, I just want you guys to understand that screws are very important for a knife. I mean, if the screws are fragile and you drop the knife, it's the screws that hold the knife together, and it's going to take the impact. Is it going to bust on you when you're out and about repairing it? You know, the last thing you need is your screw to give out on you. So I hope this video is, you know, somewhat helpful. You know, we got Sebenza, Chris Reeve type screws, great. Strider, I'm not even going to go there because, trust me, they're good. Hinder screws, soft. I mean, I think he just doesn't. Well, you have to understand, if it's softer, it's tougher, less chance of it breaking. Maybe that's more of his concern. But at the same time, maybe it's just because he didn't want to take the time to do it because he's trying to catch up. And then you have Spyderco. Like I said, on the Sage 2, screws are good. Here are these little flat screws on the paramilitary, and they held up pretty well, you know. But here's the paramilitary 2, and these are the pot clip screws. Do these fit in the military? Yes. Are they the same screw quality? No. In the video I did the messing up of this one, and what I ended up doing is that how that surface had gotten kind of jagged, I just ended up hitting it down. And we're look at, so you can see that though, and I was twisting. Okay, so I showed Mel and I was like, hey Mel, looking, switch them. But you have to see, you have to understand, like if you look at these screws, like look at that middle one, really look at in this video, and I'm going to really show it. You see, you can tell, look, the little, I guess you would say the teeth or whatever they are, they're just not, look, you can just tell they're just not as pronounced. There's like this shape of the screw is different. I mean, look at that compared to that. You can see the difference, you see, because these screws fit into these, but they're more robust. And that's just something, like for me, if it's my knife and it's the one I'm carrying, I want to be, you know, to know that's as durable as possible. And so we got the military here, and here's some military screws over here, and the sucky ones. And you can just kind of just tell when you look at the threading of them compared to these are black coated paramilitary 2 screws. And then now we're trying some Dragonfly screws made in Japan. And the weird thing is, you know, I have this tool supplied by Boker, and that's the tip. It's a little bit more thicker or I guess a little bit bigger than the Benchmade one. Benchmade tool fits in the black screw. This one fits in the Japanese screws and the white and the silver screws of the paramilitary 2, but not the black ones. And that's the problem with these little screws, is you're getting a lot of variation because, you know, they're so small. You know, it's just kind of like, you know, I guess, you know, it's a lot of hassle. They're just not all the same. You know, I would take a bigger screw any day. But I'm switching the screws of the military out for ones that you get on pocket clips. And you can tell, if you can see right here actually, here's the military screw. You can see the gaps around it. Here are the ones that we've switched into. You see how they fit more precise? Because they are just a little bit more snug. You can feel it when you screw it down. It's just better. Okay, so we have here our little, I guess you would say, modified military. These are some black screws from paramilitary 2 and some white screws also from their paramilitary 2 pot clips. And we'll note that we tried some Dragonfly screws, same size, but those Japanese screws are really thick and tough, and they just don't go into these. That's some Teflon tape right there. But we'll note that you know, when it comes down to maintaining this knife, and you put stronger screws in there, since these spacers are not nestled, they can spin. So what we had to do is we had to get some pliers, Mel hold down the spacer, and then me use 2 tools on each side to kind of twist and tighten the screws down. And I'll say that these screws are definitely stronger. And so now that's kind of nice. But I mean, compared to like a Sage 2 with the nestled spacers, you know, Sage 2, you just need one tool, tighten that side down, and nothing moves. So now, I'm not trying to lead you guys wrong here. You know, I'm just saying that it shouldn't be you have to worry about the quality of tool you buy for your knife. I mean, it should be your knife is badass, and then this is just something you go pick up and use. And I hope this little video of me messing up the screws on my Sebenza and my small Sebenza and my paramilitary give the idea that, you know what, you know, to show that I'm not trying to lead anyone wrong.